Welcome back to our retro YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you around this beauty. So this car is our first black car and it's Santorini Black. The colour just pops, but I think aesthetically we've hit the nail on the head. I think it's a very, very cool looking car. So it's a Defender 90 ragtop, as you can see. 1997. Originally it was an Italian police car, so a 300 TDI engine, and it obviously caught a lot of bad guys in its time because it turned up to us and it was a little bit rough, to say the least, as most of the donor cars are. But as you can see, it doesn't look like that now. We have rebuilt it as a 2.8 rather than the original 2.5 litre, just to give it a little bit more get up and go. These cars were never race cars when they were first born, but just being able to give it a little bit more oomph and a little bit more drivability is something that we always look for, and we always do what we can to improve any car in any area. So 300 TDI engine, it's mated with the 5-speed R380 gearbox, again fully rebuilt, and the normal LT230 transfer box. As usual, it's a car that has been totally rebuilt from the bare chassis upwards. So every single one of our cars that you see on our socials or on our channels has been full nut and bolt restoration. That's all we do here at Retro. We don't mucky any other waters. We just concentrate on total restorations, total rebuilds. And this car is no different. So we took the Italian donor car right back to the chassis and we fully rebuilt it into this beautiful Santorini Black specimen. Once it's at a bare chassis, obviously it goes through all of the normal treatment. So we make sure that the chassis is cared for, so it strips right back to bare metal. We know if there's any restoration work that we need to do to it, that it gets done. And then we raptor over the top of it and protect it with Dinatrol on both the inside and the outside of the chassis to give it maximum protection. A big thing for us is making these cars last from a longevity point of view as long as they possibly can. So we go above and beyond in all areas of the car to make sure that that happens. So even with new parts that we buy, we often strip the original powder coat that they come with off and we pay to have them re-powder coated because we want that lasting effect on everything that goes onto the car. 95% of this car will actually be new. And that doesn't sit well with all of the purists when it comes to a sort of rebuild or restoration side, but we do it for a particular reason. We want these cars to leave us better than the day they left Solihull, and by quite a mark. And that's not a criticism of what Land Rover did originally with the cars, it's just those cars were a mass-produced car. We do not mass-produce cars. We build between 15 and 20 vehicles a year, and we take our time in doing it. We're methodical with the work that we do on them and how we put these cars together. And again, unlike a lot of people that you might see that say, we build cars, we do this, we do that, we actually build them in there, in our workshop. Lots of people say, yeah, I built this car and blah, 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 in nice suits and stood there saying I chose this and I did that. In reality, they didn't, they don't. They pay somebody else to do it and then they go, I did this. We do this. You can come to our workshop and you can see our guys working on these vehicles, and we control that process from start to finish. So we work with you right from the beginning. You choose all of your options and we deliver something like this. I think you'll agree, very, very cool. And done to the best of our ability. And let me tell you, our ability is sky high. So we really work closely with our clients to give them exactly what they want. Back to the car. So a lot of new body panels on this car, and again we do that because from a durability point of view, 25-year-old Land Rovers often have knocks, bangs, rust, you name it, it's probably got it as a Land Rover. So we tend to start again with a lot of stuff because, like anything, you can prep and you can get rid of surface corrosion and stuff like that, but the likelihood is it comes back. So we go front to back, side to side, and we replace most of the body panels on the car. When it comes to the electrics, they're all brand new, specific wiring looms done the way that we need them to your specification on that particular car. The axles are fully rebuilt, so new drive shafts, fully rebuilt differentials, and again, depending on what engine we're putting in it, we look at the different options available there to make sure that everything matches up. And if you're going for more power, an LS3 model, one of the 5.7 litre 350 engines, whatever it might be, electric engine, we look at all of these things and we make sure that we change where we need to change and we spend and invest the money in the right ways. We've already said engine's totally rebuilt, gearbox is totally rebuilt, transfer box is totally rebuilt. Can't really do much more to the car. We can't really spend any more money to try and get them any better, because ultimately we spend that money to make sure they're as good as they can possibly be. This particular car I really like, because it's a bit of a throwback to how we sort of were building the cars in terms of options and stuff towards the start of our journey here at Retro. So this is actually a more sort of standard specification car than what you might find normally coming out of our workshop. This is running a -1 inch spring on it with Fox shock absorbers. So there's all sorts of options when it comes to suspension and things like that. And from that end, again, we go through that quite finely with our customers to make sure that we get what you want, basically. This particular one, we didn't want to go all tricked out with the air suspension and things like that. We went for the standard setup. The reason that we go for a 1 inch drop is because aesthetically, we just like the cars hunkered down and sat a little bit lower. We think that's where they look their best. We've combined that with an 18 inch steel wheel, and on this one, a smaller profile of tyre as well. So we were going for more of an original look to this car than the aggressive sort of standard looks that we go for on a lot of our other builds. So we've actually got the standard wheel arches on it, and then, like I say, a cool steel wheel. You don't really get any better than Steely's in our opinion, but there's obviously a lot of options when it comes to wheels and things like that. As I said, the profile of the tyre is actually smaller than what we do a lot of the time as well, just again for that look. Everybody's different and everybody has their own view on what they want stuff to look like, and our customer wanted to have more of a heritage sort of style to this particular car, which is what we've done. As usual, it has our stainless steel retro accessories. So air intakes both got our logo on them. Across to the front, your horn hole covers and your grille. And if you touch and feel these guys in comparison to a lot of other grills and things that you might see on the market, to me, they're as good as they get, you know, thick metal, really high quality. So we spend the money, you know, on everything that we do to make sure that it's right. So with the Santorini Black, we've gone with a smoked side light kit and the darker headlights as well. Just a nice tie-in when it comes to black. I think when you start adding lots of colours into black, it doesn't necessarily sit right. So we've kept it pretty simple. We've gone with basically darker colours. Obviously you get a little bit of silver in our logo and our badge, and the same, we've gone for some silver touches along the car in the bolt colours and some of the rivets, but past that we've kept it sort of that dark feel to it, and I love it. I really, really, really like it. So to go with the black on the outside, we've gone for this caramel leather on the inside, which is beautiful. It's a great contrast between the two colours, and it sits very, very well inside the car. On this particular car, we've gone for our retro low back seats. So we designed these seats 2 or 3 years ago, and the reason that we designed them is we wanted something that didn't have big chairs stuck up the side of it, because for us, it ruins that aesthetic along the car. So you imagine you take your roof off, you take your door tops off, and you just have a beautiful slick line down the side of the car. Even to the point with us where a lot of our cars actually, they don't have the headrests in them. Depends where they're going and who's driving them. Obviously the headrests are there as a safety option, but you know, we do like that really low lying slick look. So we created these bench seats in the back here to give us that effectively, just to give us that aesthetic that we're really keen on. Cars want to be practical and functional, of course, but also these cars can be beautiful, and we go for that. You know, we're looking to try and strike the right balance between the usability of the vehicle, but also how the car looks. It's right up there in terms of our priorities, and I think that's why a lot of customers come to us, because they like our styling, they can see aesthetically what we're going for, and we don't want to overcomplicate stuff. You know, these cars are a very, very cool car as they were, so we don't go crazy on them. We try and keep it as simple as we can, but you know, adding value in areas that we can. So I mentioned briefly on it, one of the things that you tend to see on a lot of our cars is these series doors. So they're a pretty basic door, but there's a couple of things that I really like about them. So the lift up handle, old school, love it. Really cool. And then the other thing is, like we said, this is actually a two-piece door. So you've got your glass proportion and you've got your bottom door proportion. And really easily, you can take this off. All you've got to do is undo 2 nuts at the bottom here, lift it off, and away you go. And then, again, you've got a completely different style and look to the car. So you imagine you take those off, you take your roof and everything else off as well. We've got folding windscreen blocks on here, so you will have seen on our socials that we do often fold the windscreens down on this car as well. And you've got a completely different aesthetic and a completely different look. Yeah, just that low side, which goes perfectly with our seats in the back as well. One of the things that I think I like the most, and I've come from a modern car background is what I would say, until I got into this, it was very much Audis, BMWs, things like that. So this is very different from what I grew up with. But what I love about these cars is that they are so adaptable. You can change styles, you can change the roof, you know, you can have a hard top on one of these as well if you wanted to. It takes a little bit of work, but we have customers that have both hard top and soft top models because ultimately it gives them the freedom to have a car all year round exactly the way that they want it. And there isn't really any other cars out there that allow you to do that. So I fell in love with Land Rover, and particularly the Defender and Series vehicles, because they're so adaptable and you can use them however you want. So, you know, within the space of half an hour, we could have all of this roof off, door tops off, windscreen folded down, and it's a completely different looking car again. But ultimately still awesome, still very, very unique in its style. And I love it. It isn't over-designed. It's a pretty simple car. We've added a few mod cons to it, made it a little bit more drivable. Visually, obviously changed it a little bit with the caramel leather, but stuck to an original Land Rover colour in the Santorini Black, which just pops beautifully. So for me, a beautiful car because it's pretty simple, but it's going to do everything that our client wants, which is what it's about. I hope you love it as much as we do. It's been really fun showing you around the car. So please like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure that you follow us on all of our social channels.